these days, Ursula? I
Uh,
heard you had
I'm
a
fine.
good visit from Herbert and Hakani.
Oh, Kun Pakini ka.
Yes, yes, good.
Yeah, it was a surprise.
How nice. And I saw a short video. Your house looks very nice, Ursula.
Ah,
You look
thank you.
very
I'm,
comfortable.
I am trying to sell the house with a real estate agent, and many people came to look at the house, 10 couples with children, and I hope there will be one who will buy the house because I want to move to Thailand to my family.
Oh, really? Good, good. Is your daughter living in Thailand now?
My daughter Angela, she lives in Burkang near San Kampeng, that is near Chiang Mai.
Okay, good. I remember Angela well. Yes,
Yes, and my son Arnold
Tommy.
Tommy, he passed away 4 years ago.
Yes, we heard about it. Very sorry to hear this, Ursula. He was a
Yeah,
very fine young man. When he
fine.
visited Thailand not so long ago, we saw him, and so very sorry to hear this news.
Yeah,
But I hope that the understanding of Dharma has helped you with the loss.
has helped me very, very much to practice alopa and to hope that Tommy, ah, in is it Sukuma Rupa after the Juti Chitta Patisanti Chitta will
Santichita.
arise?
Yes, maybe happy realm, new family, and opportunities to continue understanding the Dharma, because he's
And
fortunate that he heard so much Dharma when he was young from both his parents.
he came during the COVID season to me because he was afraid I might die. And before he left Thailand, he offered food to 20 monks.
Okay, that's very nice. Yes.
But I wish he would have gone to Parinibbana.
no
Sorry,
good
Sarah.
no good wishing and dreaming and hoping. So anyway, but what we're always reminded for all of us, actually there is death now at each moment. Kanika Marina. So now is the only time to develop a little more understanding, because each chitta arises and falls away, not just at the end of life. So actually, death now at each moment. Anyway, I'm very glad that you
Kunina,
can join.
Kunina usually would say, Chitta arise and fall away.
That's right. At each moment now, one after the other. Yes.
Mhm.
And I know that you kept in close contact with Nina, and she would be
Yeah,
so happy if she knew you were joining the Zoom discussion today.
yeah. Mm.
Yes. And
Unfortunately, she died.
yes,
Uh, why? What was the cause for
I
her
think
death?
I think just old age, just gradual fading away. And what was wonderful, the day before she died, she joined the same Saturday discussion by Zoom and listened and asked questions. And then that night just passed peacefully away in her sleep. So listening to Dharma until the very end, very confident
Wonderful.
that this is the best way to spend one's time, listening,
Mm.
discussing Dharma.
Yeah.
And Gabby is also living in Germany. You may have
Yeah, I
met
had
her before.
contact. We telephoned a few when my son died, when Tommy passed away. That was the last time we had contact, and she wrote a long letter to me with an interview of Ajahn Sujin.
Oh,
Uh,
very nice. Yes,
so for 4 years, I had no contact with Gabi.
good.
Is she listening now?
Yes, she's here now, joining the Zoom. You may be able to see her picture. And
Yeah.
for other friends who've just joined, Ursula is a friend we have known since the 1970s, a long time ago when she lived in Thailand with her family. And she lives in Germany. And recently, a couple of friends who may be here, Herbert and his wife Pakani, went to visit her to give her a surprise. So very glad that you can join us, Ursula. And let's
Thank
see
you.
if Ajahn would like to also give any more reminders, because it's a good opportunity for everyone to learn more about death at each moment and what is most precious in life, because it
Sorry,
is the
Sarah.
best medicine for every occasion.
You say that
Yes.
you're from Australia. Which state are you from, Sarah?
Sorry, Liang,
I heard you say that you're from Australia. Which state are you from?
we live in Sydney.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
thank you. I know a few of our classmates from Sydney. Yeah,
Okay. We
thank
can
you.
arrange to get together sometime in
Sarah,
Sydney or Melbourne.
Thank you.
and Sarah, I visited Australia to visit a colleague of mine. I was a teacher, and the colleague was Australian, and I visited her in near Melbourne.
I'm in
Yes.
Melbourne. You
Yes.
can visit me. Thank
Yes.
you.
Okay, let's continue the Dhamma discussion now. Very nice to have you joining. And Herbert and Umodana, appreciate your visiting Ursula and encouraging her to join the Zoom, and Kun Pakani too. So Ajahn, and Chanti and some other friends here live in the Netherlands near you as well, Ursula. Oh, here's Jonathan. He just wants to say hello.
Just a quick hello, Ursula, to say nice to see
Hello.
you again.
Hello, Kun Jonathan. You
Yeah,
were a very good friend of Pratamataro.
that's correct. Yes. Yeah. I saw a lot of him, traveled together with him a lot. Yes.
Yes.
Nice to see you again, Ursula.
Nice
And
to see you.
Kumpakani is there with you now, is she?
Yes, she is with
Hi,
me and
Kumpakani.
Herbert.
Okay. And Herbert too. Good. Thanks, everyone. So we're passing over to Ajahn now.
Did you overcome your cancer disease?
Yes, everything clear. Thanks, Ursula. Thank you very much.
I had cancer too. Months ago, I was in hospital and was operated because I have cancer in the bladder.
Hmm. I'm sorry to hear that. All clear
Yeah,
now? Good.
clear now. But I have to go to see the doctor every 3 months because the tumor might come back.
That's right. You never know. You never actually
But no.
free of
Yeah.
it. You're just in remission. That's how it
Where
is
are
for
you
the
at the
rest of this
moment?
life.
Where
Sorry?
are you at this
In Hong Kong.
Hong Kong?
Yes.
Yeah.
Where,
Actually sitting next to me at the table.
yes, we're both in the same room.
Press here.
Okay, enough chit chat for now. Let's pass over to Ajahn to continue the Dhamma discussion.
Please, is there any question?
Does anyone have any question for Ajahn, or generally, or comment to make?
Yeah, if anyone don't have question, I really have question. Thank you. Thank you,
Okay, Liang,
Jonathan.
please go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, Ajahn, for related to Rupa, yeah, is there any when Rups arise, is there, I'm talking about Samutthana, yeah, because there are four Samutthana condition, yeah, we can call condition, I'm not sure, yeah, because I never discussed about Rup before, yeah, but Pali call Samutthana. Normally they have four different conditions from karma, from chitta, from temperature, and from we call
Nutriment.
Yeah, nutrient. Yeah. Is there one kalapa or rupa arise? Is there any can be two samudhana at the same time, or only one samudhana? Yeah, because sometimes when I listen, I'm a bit confused. Like for chitta, one chitta arise can have so many conditions for one chitta arise, and
I just give a simple translation for those who are not so familiar with the Pali terms. So Kim Hong is talking about Liang is talking about the condition for the arising of rupas. So what we know is rupas, those realities that don't experience anything. If they are outside the body, these rupas can only be conditioned by temperature, not by any other cause. They cannot be conditioned by karma. They cannot be conditioned by chitta. They cannot be conditioned by nutriment. For example, the hardness of in the table that I'm touching, that hardness has to arise in a group with other rupas, but that group can only be conditioned by temperature. But if we're talking about the rupas in the body, some rupas are conditioned by karma. For example, eye sense or ear sense can only be conditioned by karma, not by chitta, not by nutriment, not by temperature, only by karma. Some rupas in the body can only be conditioned by chitta. For example, when I'm intending to move my hand, the rupas are conditioned by chitta at that very moment. Chitta conditions the intention to move the bodily intimation, and the rupas arising with it at that moment. Some rupas in the body are conditioned by nutriment. So if no nutriment is taken, the body dies. So nutriment is important, as we know, both internal and external nutriment. And some rupas in the body are conditioned by temperature, too hot, too cold, conditions the rupas. But the group of rupas arising now in the body, conditioned by one of these causes, cannot, even if it is a rupa that can be conditioned by different causes, only one at a time. The rupa at this moment, the hardness in the body now, if it's conditioned by nutriment, it cannot be conditioned by temperature at that moment. So only one of these conditions the hardness arising inside the body at this very moment. And that hardness in the body arises with other rupas in a group. So all the rupas in that group, that kalapa, is just conditioned by one of those conditions at a time, not more than one.
Yeah, it means that at the time of one kalapa arising, only one condition.
One condition, exactly.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah. But yes. That's what I thought so far. But when I listen or read something, like for example, I have to read some example to clarify that. Yeah. When we talk about the causal, for example, the case talk about anatha bandaka sethe, the one that normally give food to people. Yeah, at the time of the Buddha. Sorry, not this time.
Anathapindika, yes.
Yeah. If I'm not confused, there was causal arising in the heaven waiting for him. For example, if I'm wrong, yeah. But I just would like to talk about that causal. Normally, they call kamma pachaya utto samuthana rupa. It means that that causal arise from temperature that have temperature condition, and also from the Pali word, I know that kamma pachaya utto samuthana rupa. It means also have karma that make, because in the heaven, you know. Yeah, can you explain a bit?
Like now, karma can bring its result. For example, the group of rupas conditioned by karma, and the temperature or the hardness in that group, it could condition other rupas. So the temperature in the group, it can condition further groups of rupas. I think I just pass this to Ajahn because I think she will wish to bring it back to this moment.
Me, you know?
Yes. So it's like when I speak now, the rupas are conditioned by chitta, but the temperature in the group will condition other groups of rupas. So I think this is what is being referred to, but still each group of rupas only conditioned by one of those conditions. And I think, is it Sila who has her hand up, wishing to speak? No, it's gone down now. Okay, Ajahn, would you like to add?
That's why one group is conditioned by one condition, karma, and the karma condition the utu, and the utu which is conditioned by karma condition the utu as the place and the home and the house or for the deva. Just like we have the house here, we have intention, and we have many conditions. And the utu, conditioned by karma, will condition further on and on and on. That's why even can we say the palace and the home or what they ever live is different by karma as well, right?
Oh, okay, Ajahn. Not
Indirectly, because the karma brings its conditions, a group of rupas conditioned by karma, and then the utu conditions, like anything outside the body is conditioned by utu. So it conditions the groups of rupas outside. So it's like karma conditions it, but it's actually by way of the utu.
Okay. Yeah, directly. Karma condition at that time is indirect condition, like it in condition temperature, and then temperature condition the causal. Yeah.
It's like now when I speak, the chitta conditions sound, but what is heard is actually conditioned by temperature.
Temperature, yeah,
Yes.
yeah. It means we call chitta pachaya utto samuthana. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yes.
thank you. Yeah,
and Ursula, do you have your hand up to ask something or bring up something? Or is it someone else? I don't know.
If not, I have one more question, Sarah, because from what we learned last time, I don't know why for every chitta we have what we call, you taught me, I never learned it, light Chivitan tree, English called light something.
Jivitindriya, yes, life faculty.
Yeah.
There is the Jivitindriya Nama and the Jivitindriya Rupa. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
For Jivitindriya Nama, like life faculty Nama, it's a bit easier to understand because it comes with every chitta. But I don't understand why for Rupa, life faculty Rupa only come with the Kalapa, with the group of Rupa that have that conditioned by karma.
Yes. So like you mentioned before, the group of rupas conditioned by karma, the Jivitindriya rupa arises with that group. So that group has minimum 9 rupas with karma and actually 10, because if we're talking about eye sense, for example, there are the 8 rupas that arise in each kalapa, plus Jivitindriya rupa, plus eye sense, 10 rupas conditioned by karma arising together in the group. So only when it is the groups of rupas conditioned by karma, the Jivitindriya rupa is needed to maintain the life of those rupas. At the end of this life, when there's just a corpse, the groups of rupa, that no Jivitindriya rupa arising, the groups of rupas are just conditioned by temperature. For example, the relics of the Buddha, those groups of rupas just conditioned by temperature, no Kamaja rupas, so no Jivitindriya rupa.
Yeah, but when we learn about life faculty, yeah, the function of life faculty is come to maintain the life shift of the rupa. How about three other type of rupa, like from that have other 3 conditions? Why they don't need Jivatantri rupa?
Because it's just the rupa conditioned by karma that is necessary for the arising of that group of rupas that, like eye sense, conditioned by karma. Perhaps Ajahn would like to add more. And I'd just like to say very happy to see you, Yotika. We haven't seen you for a little time. So after Ajahn has explained to Liang, I would like to ask you for any topics you would like to bring up, because priority should be for our senior elder students like Utica and Ursula today. Jan, would you like to add more to Liang's question, and then we'll ask Utica what she would like to bring up today?
Please repeat the question again.
Yeah, Ajahn, the question is that for the Jivatantri Chitasika, yeah, it happened, it arrived with all the Chitta, but why Jivatantri Rupa only arrive with the Kalapa, with the group of Rupa that conditioned by karma? Why not arrive with the 3 the group of Rupa that conditioned by 3 the conditions, 3 other type of conditions?
Shivitindriya Rupa is conditioned by karma only. That's that's why
Yeah.
any group which is not conditioned by karma cannot have Shivitindriya.
Chan, Liang is asking on.
Oh, you unmute. Sorry, we don't hear you.
We've lost your audio, Sukin.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, Liang is asking in terms of the meaning of Jivit Indriya as maintaining the life. So if a rupa means the life of a rupa, so why only it performs that function in rupas conditioned by karma? Why not in rupas conditioned by chitta, ahara, and utu?
There are 2 kinds of Shivitindriya, the Nama Shivitindriya and the Rupa Shivitindriya. The Nama Shivitindriya Cetasika arises with each chitta, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what easy, a bit easy for me to understand. Thank you.
That's why the nature of the reality which is Nama is living being because of Shivitindriya Cetasika. And for the body of the living being, the rupa is conditioned, and there is also tivitindriya rupa to condition the rupa different from other rupa, which is conditioned by utu, no tivitindriya, like the trees, the plants, and so on, mountains, so on. No tivitindriya rupa, not living body, living rupa. So whatever arises with Chivitindriya is conditioned by karma, like the
So,
picture and the real one. Look,
so you understand now the word living here means living being, not life of a particular reality. It's just
Can you say again? Sorry.
so here the life of Rupa means as in living being, a living being, not life of a span of Chitta or Rupa, not the life of Chitta, not life of Rupa, but it's the meaning of living being.
Living
So
being.
living being,
body.
Oh,
like
living being.
Only living beings have Jivitindriya Nama or Jivitindriya Rupa, because outside the body, no Jivitindriya Nama required to maintain life, and no Rupa conditioned by karma. So it's just the Rupas that conditioned by karma in living beings, maintaining life of that being. Without those Rupas conditioned by karma, no more life.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. Because the book explain but different, you know. Yeah, I try to read some books and they explain that because karma condition is the past condition, not the present condition, and the other condition, the other three condition are present condition that happen at the same time with a group of rupa, but I'm not quite sure about that. That's why
I think
I keep asking.
that's another topic, another topic to consider about when the conditions occur, because the temperature may have been that conditioned this coldness or hardness now. It may have been a moment ago or before, so it's deeper than we think. Let's just ask Yotika
Thank you.
what she would
you,
like to
Madam.
bring up.
Thank you, Sarah.
Go ahead, Yotika. Very glad to see you.
Thank you, Sarah. I do not have a question. I'm happy that I'm back. I just have the question on myself. How could I forget the Saturday morning? I just forgot it.
Well, it doesn't matter. It's all gone.
But I just forget it. It's just happening, and I'm sorry.
You're here now, Yotika, and in the end, at the end of this life, all these things get forgotten, all unimportant.
Forget all the things.
Yes, everything, all the names, all the people, all the friends, everything is to be forgotten. So that's why what is precious is just developing a little more understanding, not remembering the day or the time or the names or the people, because that will all be forgotten. It's all gone.
and also a good reminder that it's not up to us. There's no self who's in control. It's just different conditions. Sometimes it's time for vipaka, sometimes it's time for kusla, akusla. It all depends on conditions.
Who is speaking now? To me?
Sukin, Jyotika.
You are not here with the name?
A picture, it is there, I think.
A picture?
Sukin. Yeah, Sukinda Pal Singh Arula.
Zoek in. Ook, Sadhu.
Is it your picture, Sukin?
Yeah, a cartoon.
Really? Your real picture? Because from your sound, I think that you young. Sorry, I don't want to say anything. Yeah.
And Yotika, I want to say that we often have discussions. We had one recently about memory, Sanya, and we think of good memory when we remember the names, when we remember the day, and we remember the time, and that it's a discussion on Saturday morning, and we think it's bad memory when we forget those things. But from the Buddha's teachings, we learn that the good memory or the right memory is just at moments of kusala, moments of understanding, moments of kindness, moments of generosity. At those moments, the memory, the sanya, is marking the object in a wholesome way. And at moments of akusala, when there is selfishness, when there is attachment, when there is ignorance, even when from the outward appearance it seems there is good memory, but actually that's the unwholesome memory, the akusala sanya. So the understanding, the all kinds of kusala, more important than the memory of days and times and people and Pali terms. Just beginning to understand a little more about this moment. And I know you have a lot of confidence in the importance and the value of understanding life now. Everything else is gone or not come yet. So it's only this moment, understanding what is seen now, what is heard now, thinking now, kindness, pleasant feeling, unpleasant feeling, understanding the reality now. That's all that matters in life, one moment at a time.
Very beautiful to hear. Very beautiful to hear, Sarah.
And it's so impressive that you continue to listen to the Dhamma and appreciate it. So we're very glad to have you here today, and Ursula too, who I think will be similar age to you. So, and Umodana, we appreciate it a lot. And Jan, would you like to say anything further to Yotika or anyone?
About Chivitindriya or
Forgetting.
what?
Forgetting. Die groep.
Or understanding at this moment, perhaps it's helpful for people to.
Mikrofonisch an.
Ja, das ist das Problem, weil sie jetzt nichts einfach. Jetzt. Jetzt kann sie sprechen.
Kunz,
I'm not sure if Ursula was wishing to speak or not. Anyway, we can carry on.
Kunsara,
Yes,
I want to
Ursula.
ask you.
Good.
I want to ask you, can you explain me more about Sukuma Rupa, the fine Rupa?
I can't really because it's so far away. I don't think about it. So
Yeah.
the heavenly realm, very so far removed. So I don't dream about it or think about it. But perhaps Ajahn may like to say something about it.
John, yeah.
What rupa can appear in daily life? Can be known in daily life? How many rupas? And through what doorway it can be experienced?
Eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body sense, and mind door.
So now what appears? The rupa. We are talking about the rupa. What rupa appears now?
Visible object,
Oh,
audible
okay.
object.
Yeah. Can it arise alone?
No, must have condition.
And it has to arise with what?
Vishetasika and
No, just the
Ruchita.
rupa. The rupa arise together in a group of rupa. There are many rupas. And what are the main or the primary rupas? That must be there. Any moment when any rupa appears, it is also there too. But the
Color
rupa
and
can be
sound.
known. The rupa can be known just one rupa at a time. But one rupa cannot arise alone. It has to arise together with other rupas. And what are the primary rupas? It
ดิน
has
ทราย
to
น้ำลม
arise. Yes, ดินน้ำไฟลม four primary rupas. And the visible object can be seen.
visible object. Yeah.
Can the Patwi be known or Apo be known? The Pali term for the
The
four primary
hardness or
rupas.
the hardness is the patawi, or the water, the cohesion element is the apple. So the four primary rupas, the hardness, the heat or cold, the cohesion, the water element, and the air, the motion, they have to be there in each group. So when visible object is seen, it is conditioned by four primary rupas in the group. So the four primary rupas, and then there must be the visible object or the color, and there must be the odor in each group, and taste in each group, and nutriment in each group. So always at least 8 rupas in each group. So when the visible object is seen, it has to arise with 7 other rupas, always in a group. So that was Ajahn question. What does it arise with? It has to arise with other rupas together, but only one is seen.
I want to finish.
Okay, can we say คุณซาร่าคุณอัวสุรา want to go outside. She have something. She just now finished.
That's
Is that
fine.
okay?
Good. Please come back when you are free, Ursula.
Maybe next time. Maybe
Yes,
next
I
time.
will
okay.
try. I will
Very
try.
good to see you. Yeah, come each time just for a few minutes or as long or shorter time as you like, anytime. Thank
Yeah.
you, Kun Pakani, for
We'll be-
helping.
We'll be driving to now to home.
Okay.
Yes.
How far away do you live, Pakani? How far away is it?
600
Yeah.
kilometer in the Black Forest,
Big trip.
where Jonathan went walking once, many years
Yeah.
ago. Oh, no,
With
the
both
phone
of
has
us. Yes, we both went. Yes.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Yeah. Thank
Anumodana.
Anumodana, Ursula. Very glad to see you. Come again.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye, Gun Herbert.
Bye-bye.
สวัส สวัสดีค่ะคุณเอสไลคุณเฮอร์เบิร์ตคุณอ้อมค่ะ
Anjadinka. สวัสดีค่ะ Anumodana. คิด
ค่ะ
ถึงทุกวัน
ดิฉันเหมือนกันค่ะ
ค่ะ
เป็นสิ่งที่ยากมากเลยค่ะสำหรับคุณอุสุราคุณอุสุราบอกการเข้าซูม ค่ะ ตอนนี้กำลังเรียนรู้ใหม่นะคะคุณอุสุราค่ะ ขอบคุณค่ะกับเท้าท่านอาจารย์ค่ะ
ค่ะยินดีค่ะ สวัสดีค่ะ
And I think the main point, Ursula, that Ajahn was stressing is we dream about beautiful heavenly realms, but what's important is now, understanding what is now.
So today we'll learn about rupa one by one, little by little. So for the four primary rupas, and there must be that which is seen now together. They can be separated. But without the four primary rupas, no rupa can arise. That's why no matter we take it for visual object or sound, there must be the four primary rupas together. So now, how many rupas we have studied? 8, right?
Hello, Ajahn. We so far we have studied like visible objects. We have studied sound, smell, taste, and three man that are the object of touching.
And what more?
What more? Eye sense or eye base,
Good.
ear base, nose base, tongue base, and body base.
So how many now?
We have at least 12 that we
That
call, I don't know what the English call, but the opposite of sarcoma that she asked me for.
The 12 gross rupas.
Growth. Yeah, thank you.
More apparent, yes. The 7 objects, 7
Yeah.
rupas experienced through the sense doors, and the 5 sense bases, 12. Yes. Opposite of subtle or sukuma, yes.
Yeah, thank you.
and
Yeah.
how many rupas conditioned by karma?
If purely only 9. If purely like only karma.
Where are they?
Like the eye base, ear base, nose sense, tongue sense, body sense, chi và tần tria, hạ tía, and the feminine and masculine.
So we know all about
There are
karma
more,
rupa.
but not only karma can be conditioned by others.
Yes, but how many rupas can be realized in a day? Can be known in a day?
Can be easily known 7
Yes,
objects.
and also the 5 senses.
Yes.
That it has to be there at moment of seeing or hearing.
Yes. Should we know something else to be like be able to be deeply classify those rupa, Ajahn?
It appears through sight, right? For example, femininity or masculinity. The shape, the form, the manners, the way of walking or working and so on. Different career, different kinds, like can you walk like a man?
No, generally
So
no.
because of what? The rupa, femininity.
Condition, yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Because what can be seen or smelled has to be only 5 doorways only. the femininity or masculinity cannot be the object of experiencing in a day. But the manners, the shape and form and the way they speak or such and such condition the difference to be known as femininity or masculinity. Man or woman, girl or boy. And what about the infant? See, can anyone know?
No, I don't think so.
Until it appears through seeing different manners, different kind of speech.
Yes, that's why they are classified as the Sokomas Rupa.
That's it. Because it cannot be directly experienced in a day at all.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's hard um, for appearing.
The appearance is different by the masculinity or femininity. Otherwise, they will not be different.
Yeah, because they are supported by the five doorway. Have to be supported by five doorway, so that it can be distinguished. Is it right? Sorry.
Any moment when it appears as woman or man because of the femininity or masculinity.
So it's not support through the five doors, but it has to appear through the five doors by way of visible object sound. If nothing is seen or nothing is heard,
Yeah.
no way of knowing. So it has to appear through the five doors, has to manifest or reveal through the five doors only.
By nimitta, yeah. So, yeah, and
Like the sound of the voice. So it's just sound that is heard, but from the sound, then there is an idea thinking about whether it is male voice or female voice, but it's just sound that is heard. But without the sound, no way of telling.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, and for the male sound and female sound can be distinguished by vị chay vinyate rupa. Oh no,
So it's just sound that's heard, but the sanya, the memory, marks it and conditions thinking about, oh, this was a male voice, this was a female voice, because of sanya, which conditions that thinking. Because the masculinity or femininity, as you say, it doesn't appear through the sense door, but because of the different sounds, different visible objects seen and heard, the sanya remembers what is what. Small children begin to learn what is a boy, what is a girl, and so on, from remembering, marking, thinking, learning about the different visible objects and sounds.
yeah, and Sarah can those two appear through mind door?
It's, as you say, subtle rupa, so depends on the degree of understanding.
Okay, because when it doesn't
Not
appear
now,
through, yeah,
not now. They don't
now.
appear now. They don't appear.
Yeah,
But for great panya, then
it can
what can appear?
now only.
For the Buddha's wisdom, all realities appeared.
Yeah, yeah. For the
Always
Buddha, everything.
by way of nimitta, yes.
Now doubt appear. It means that doubt have more chance to appear.
Now there can be, like we discussed last time, a little more understanding at moments of doubt. It's a reality, not my doubt. It's just a Dhamma that arises and gone because of thinking about the story, and then it conditions doubt. And that's why we stress about what appears now. Otherwise, if we think too much, well, what will the heavenly realm be like? And what about when femininity rupa will appear? It just conditions doubt because it's far away from understanding what appears right now.
Yeah. Thank you. And talking about nimitta, yeah, can nimitta, yeah, because the word nimitta is important for us, because what I always heard that Ajahn stressed that the Buddha said what appear, it's only by way of nimitta. Yeah. Can nimitta, I'm sure that nimitta can be the nimitta of the reality, like the visible object, the nimitta of visible object. But can nimitta can be the nimitta of shape and form? I couldn't hear you. I don't know.
Nimitta of anything. Nimitta of what is seen now, nimitta of what is heard now, nimitta of the idea of shape and form, nimitta of different colors. But when we're talking about the development of understanding, we're talking about the nimitta of the characteristic of reality itself.
Yeah, but when talking about nimitta, it's also can be nimitta of paññatti, yeah? Even
like
what
when
we call that the concept.
Yes, like when we're talking about the nimitta in the development of samatha, it's not the nimitta of the reality.
Yeah.
But what we're interested in is understanding more about the reality, and understanding the reality has to be by way of nimitta.
Okay.
But Sarah, it would mean that nimitta with a different meaning, right? The one that is the nimitta of reality, and the nimitta of the other one you were referring to. There'd be a different meaning, because nimitta of reality means it's by virtue of rising and falling away very rapidly, one after the other. And
Yes,
the
I
other
think
doesn't arise and fall away.
this is what is meant by sankhara nimitta, the term used in the Visuddhimagga, as far as I can see, to refer to the nimitta of realities.
So this is sankhara nimitta. So this is what we're interested in, because we're interested in understanding the Dhamma, and because they rise and fall away so much, it's always nimitta. But for example, if one's talking about nimitta of in Kasina, for example, then it's still referring to the sign. It's the sign of the hardness or the earth element, for example, like we find what is hard so important: the computer, the table, the worldly objects, the houses, the chairs. So we find it also important, but it's just earth element. So it's the nimitta of earth element that is the object, but it's still sign, but it's not sankhara nimitta, the sign of reality, or the sign of breath, or the sign of, like we find life so important, but without breath, no life at all. So it's the sign of breath, but it's not the reality of breath. Let's see if Ajahn would like to add more.
Yeah, thank you, Sarah.
Kin and Liang.
All Sankhara Dhamma appear by way of nimitta. Is that right?
Yeah, it's right. Ajahn.
So now, it's the word of nimitta.
Yes. The world
and
are now the world of nimitta.
nimitta of everything,
Yes, yes.
nimitta of seeing, nimitta of sound and visible object and everything.
Yes, yes, correct.
And Liang, shape and form, which you asked about, what is your particular interest in nimitta of shape and form?
Yeah, because a bit easier for me to understand about that, or for that context, everything appear in form of nimitta. If we're talking about nimitta of the reality, like seeing, like visible object, it's a bit easier for me to understand. But I'm not that sure for the shape and form, because shape and form, when talking about shape and form, is not a reality anymore, you know.
Correct. So
Yeah,
shape and form cannot be the object of understanding,
yeah.
of
That's why I'm
insight.
not sure that
Yeah.
we can say that, or yeah.
So I don't think we find reference to nimitta of shape and form.
Yeah, for example, when lopa normally, the object of lopa can be because of the good shape, the nice color, nice and bright color, or something that inform like shape and form.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, there can be attachment to shape and form, but not
Yeah.
understanding of shape and form.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah.
And it depends also on the way it's used, because in the text we read a lot about the nimitta and ubhyanjana of realities, and this is usually translated as shape and form. So each reality has nimitta, and the anubhyanjana are the details. So nimitta of reality, and then nimitta of the details, like looking at the visible object, and then there are the details of the face. So it is a deep topic.
Yeah, Sarah, you mean anupchunjana and nimitta are the same word? Anupchunjana,
Nimitta,
I know the word, the Pali word. Yeah, but
so
it's the same word as nimitta.
two different words, nimitta and ubhyanjana, but anubhyanjana refers to the details of
Yeah,
the nimitta. So what is seen is just the color, but then the anubhyanjana refer to the
yeah,
details.
yeah.
I
Like
think this
for
is a different
example,
meaning of nimitta, though.
yeah,
This is nimitta meaning shape.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
remember
this is not
Sarah said before,
nimitta
like
as in,
a copy, you know, yeah, the something like copy of something, you know, yeah, more like that. But anupchunjana from what we learn is, for example, if no hand, but we think that, oh, it's an arm, you know, something, yeah, or this is a nice, this lady have a nice arm or something. They refer to
Referring
anupchunjana.
to the details of what is seen,
Yeah,
which has to be thought about. Yes.
thank you.
I think it's helpful to remember, as Achan often reminds us, that without nimitta, there's no concept. So without nimitta, there's no sign and details. But because there's nimitta, there's the nimitta and anupyanjana, which is what we're talking about.
It all comes
Without the
back to
nimitta of the reality of different colors experienced, there wouldn't be the shape and form.
It means without nimitta, no anupchunjana.
exactly no details, no, because it's what is thought about with regard to what is seen. So whatever we're talking about, whatever meaning of nimitta we're talking about, it comes back to the understanding of realities, because there are only realities. And without realities, no nimitta, no details at all.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Right. And one more thing, Sarah, we normally say that, oh, I forgot it. Yeah, but for the, if we talk about, we think about pariyatte, parimatte, like because we talk about sanya, and sanya comes with every citta. Yeah, I remember last class, we talk about citta never forget it. Yeah. Yeah, I remember our last class. But for conventional speaking, we always say that, oh, I forgot it. But normally, sanya comes with citta. It means that citta never forget it. But only the different object. We want to remember something from what we want, but the citta work its way by its condition. Is it right?
The cheetah doesn't remember or doesn't forget. The cheetah just experiences, is the leader in experiencing the object. Seeing doesn't remember anything about visible object. It just sees the visible object appearing clearly. And the sanya at each moment marks and remembers at each moment, no matter what we think about it conventionally. Actually, it's marking and remembering. But like you say, it may not be what we would like to be remembered, but actually it's performing its function at every moment, always marking, always remembering. When we say, I can't remember the name, or I forget that it's Saturday morning, but still Sanya is marking and remembering an object. So it's always for a moment, and it's just a Dhamma and gone.
Yeah, because I sometimes want to reflecting what we have discussed before.
Yes, good. It's good that you consider it again and again. Appreciate this a lot.
Yeah,
and I'm just wondering, Maeve, anything you would like to bring up today or ask Ajahn about? Or Sylvia?
Yes, it's just probably a detail in relation to nimitta, but when that expression is used by way of nimitta, what's the understanding around that? Is I'm just reflecting on what Ajahn, well, I think you quoted Ajahn as saying, without nimitta, there could be no concept. And is that that somehow nimitta facilitates the awareness of the reality? It just seems like I've realized that I've taken that expression by way of for granted, but I'd just like maybe some comments about it, and whether it refers to a function of nimitta. So that's, I know it's just a detail, but if there could be some observation about that, thank you.
I think it's just pointing to the fact that now we talk about awareness of sound heard, but actually the sound that's arisen and fallen away, one sound in one group, in one sensed or process, cannot be understood. It has to be there has to be the experiencing of many, many moments of hardness in many doorways, in many processes, before there can be understanding of hardness, the reality. So it's actually the nimitta of the hardness, because the hardness itself has fallen away, or the hearing.
So is that like, does that mean it's like referring to a collective?
It's like a replica of the characteristic of hardness, which has been heard many times. So there have been many, many moments of hearing sound with many, many mind or processes in between. But that characteristic of hardness can appear and can be directly known. But it is the replica of the hardness. It's not the actual hardness because that fell away in the sense door process. So the hardness that can be known now is the nimitta of the hardness.
Sarah, is it replica or is it just another moment of hardness? Similar.
It's the characteristic of hardness. It's like a photocopy of hardness. So
But
it's
that sounds a bit strange because the chitta arises by conditions and has a particular object. So if you're saying to the effect that one visible object followed by many photocopies of that visible object, it doesn't sound right. I just thought that it's the way that how the Dhamma works that usually there are many instances of seeing and thinking following each other.
so
Hence,
let's think about the seeing, for example. So at a moment of seeing, there cannot be understanding with seeing, and seeing cannot be the object through the sense door, can only be known through the mind door. So it's always like a photocopy or replica of the characteristic of seeing, which appears. So it's always the nimitta of seeing. It's never the seeing itself. Even for the Buddha, understanding cannot arise with seeing. Seeing cannot be the object in the sense door and the eye door process. So it's always the nimitta of seeing or the nimitta of hearing. It's the nimitta of any reality. So it's always the characteristic of that reality that appears. Attachment now, there cannot be understanding with attachment. So when attachment is the object of understanding, there's no attachment at that moment. It's always the replica, the image of that attachment that is the object of understanding, not one attachment, not one seeing, not one hearing, but many, many have risen and fallen away. But the exact characteristic, the exact replica is the object of nimitta, even when it is vipassana jnana and there is the direct understanding of the rising and falling away of reality, it's still nimitta, it's still the characteristic of the reality. For example, attachment, even if it's direct understanding of the rising and falling away of attachment, the attachment is actually gone. So it's always nimitta that is of that reality that appears.
so
I'm
by
sure
replica, you mean the same reality arising one after the other? Or do you mean the photocopy, one original and many, many photocopies?
let's just say it's the characteristic. When we say the photocopy of the replica, it means for all intents and purposes, it's exactly the same. The sound is exactly the same. But in fact, it is the characteristic of sound because the actual sound has gone. So this is what is meant by photocopy or replica or nimitta of the characteristic of the reality. I'm going to invite Ajahn to add more because it's a good topic, a Maeve, and I'm sure she would like to speak more to you.
Is there now just hardness appearing? See,
No, not just hardness.
I think it's appear, but by means of nibbita only.
in between many moments of experiences, many, many different realities, right?
Mm.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
That's why we cannot just experience one single
Mm.
of a reality at all. That's what it's meant, nimitta.
Yeah, อา
And
จารย์
and
even
Buddha taught.
though we cannot experience, even the Buddha can experience, but the next moment that he sorry, the next chitta that experience, like for example the visible object that already gone, it also nimitta. Yeah.
So when we learn more about what arises from moment to moment, we begin to understand the meaning of nimitta. It's not that one which arises and falls away as the object experienced at all. Many doorways right now, hardness and seeing and thinking. So is that just a unit of hardness, single unit? Impossible. That's why no matter what, it appears by way of nimitta, not just one single unit. Just learn to understand the way it is. It's covered up by ignorance and attachment. No understanding of the truth that it's not there anymore, even by way of nimitta. That's why Dhamma is so very subtle, beyond expectation. From birth to death, what are there? Unknown. Because each one appears as something, atta, but in truth, impossible to be the moment of experience, just one unit of a reality. That's all. So we live in the world of nimitta. The more understanding of the way it is, it's quite far away from what we thought about when there's no understanding of the truth at all. So at moment of learning to understand one reality at a time, it can condition the moment of understand the truth of nothing, anatta, not anything at all. Opposite of in life, we were born and on and on and on until death. But in truth, all are conditioned realities from moment to moment. And what can be experienced is only through the six doorways. What about the other? See, they arise and fall away unknown. So we live in the world of the stream of nothing appearing, bhavanka, and then something appearing so shortly, and then again and again, bhavanka and viticita, on and on, non-stop. Years and years ago, longer than that, no one can imagine how long. So it's time to hear the truth of what is there, little by little, to begin to understand that even right now, what appears gone unknowingly, and the arising and falling away of the next one gone unknown all the time. So we learn about different realities and its conditions to arise, different from moment to moment. What is there now has arisen and fallen away, never to arise again, never to come back at all. But the understanding from moment to moment develops to let go ignorance and attachment. Like when we talk about the Four Noble Truths, see, beginning from seeing, hearing what is there right now, arising and falling away, never to return. Dukkha Ariya Satya. Begin to understand life, it's not
He's waiting to
permanent.
speak.
It cannot be anyone or anything at all. Little by little, it wears away the wrong understanding, attachment, and ignorance.
Sorry, อาจารย์ it means that nimitta is not a reality. It's an image of reality. Is it correct?
Without any reality arising and falling away, can there be any nimitta?
No.
So nimitta is just the sign of that which arises and falls away instantly.
Instantly. We cannot say that nimitta or panyate, one samcitta, for example, one samcitta like through mando that have panyates as objects. We the consciousness after that, we cannot say that all those consciousness have the nimitta of panyate.
That's why we have to. That's why we have to talk about just one reality at a time. For example, what is panyati? See,
And Maeve, I think this was your question. Do you have any follow-up or Ajahn?
Well, yes, Ajahn. I mean, it occurs that nimitta, and I'm thinking of the fire stick analogy, like the after image of the fire stick as it moves through space, that it's actually an illusion. And can we say that nimitta is an illusion because it's not a reality, is it?
is there nimitta now?
Well, according to how we've been talking about it, there has to be. There has to be. There can only be nimitta, but I think we're also saying that it's like that is not what is real.
Nimitta
It
of
just
what?
it
There is
represents
the
what is real.
yeah, there is nimitta for sure right now. Nimitta of what?
Can I?
Everything that arises and falls.
One reality, right?
One reality after another, yes.
That's why there are different kinds of nimitta too. Nimitta of one reality and nimitta of something, not only one reality.
And can I just say, Maeve, that although in the fire stick instance, we can say it's an illusion, but it's also the way that the color of the fire, the burning ember, whatever it is known. And it's a true indication of that color, even though the what is seen has already fallen away in the case of the fire stick. So it's not so much the circle that is being referred to in that sense, but it's the fact that the color of the fire stick is known by the image that is left behind, as I see it.
And this is what is meant by a replica or photocopy, because the visible object is gone, but the image, the nimitta of that reality is appearing to be known. The characteristic can be known, but it's always by way of nimitta, to use the expression you asked about at the beginning. Without nimitta, the visible object couldn't be known, the seeing couldn't be known. But because it arises and falls away quickly, like in the fast stick analogy, there is a nimitta which can be known. So this image or replica of the visible object is known by way of nimitta.
Ajahn, you often refer to what is hidden. And so I think it's like trying to reconcile that nimitta is, as you're saying, Sarah, a replica, and Jonathan, of something that is real, but the reality is not the reality, that the reality is somehow hidden by that.
What about reality? It's not reality. Real.
The nimitta is not reality.
But
It
with a
represents
reality.
reality.
Is it the nimitta that hides the reality, or is it the inability to directly see the momentary arising and falling away that means that only the nimitta is apparent?
And that it can only be apparent because it's impossible to see the rising and falling away of the individual reality.
Yeah, except by highly developed understanding, that of a Buddha or that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But certainly for us at the beginning stage, it's not possible to see the rising and falling away of a single moment of reality, but only the image of multiple moments of that reality arising and falling away can become apparent to awareness and understanding.
And it's important for us to know that that is the only way that those individual moments of reality can be known. Is that right? Because the point of understanding that all realities appear as very so briefly that it's impossible to actually grasp on any level. So and yet that is the nature of what we're considering when we talk about impermanence and non-self, and the nature of suffering.
Yes,
So
that's what.
It's like somehow reconciling just in terms of this discussion. It seems as if there's something at odds, and I think maybe when Sukhinder commented before, he was hinting at that, and you know, I know that this is a lack of understanding. I'm just exploring what the nature of that misunderstanding could be.
Hello, May.
It's not necessarily a misunderstanding, though. To go back to your analogy of the fire stick, if there was a camera with a fast enough shutter speed, it could capture the fire stick without any pale.
As a
And
series.
Sorry?
As a series of images.
Yes, or even as just as a single image. And it's the same with understanding. If understanding is sharp enough, it would be able to see the arising and falling away of a single moment. But until it achieves that level of development, it's unable to see the arising and the falling away of a single moment of that reality. And what appears is a stream of multiple moments of that reality. But nonetheless, by that stream or image, it's possible for the nature of the reality to be known, something about the nature of the reality to be known. So that's the main thing, that it's by the image that the nature of seeing a visible object, hearing and sound are first known. But as understanding develops, then it gets closer to the direct experiencing of a single moment of those realities.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the main point, Maeve, is if there's understanding now of sound that it's heard, it's just sound, it's just the reality. We can say at that moment of understanding sound, no thought about whether it's the actual sound or the nimitta of sound or a photocopy or a replica. It's just sound, just the reality. But in fact, whatever is experienced, it's always nimitta of the reality. It's always nimitta of the characteristic of the reality. But for all intents and purposes, it's just the understanding of the reality itself. But knowing it's via nimitta explains why any reality can be known, can appear, even attachment, even seeing, even hearing. It doesn't matter whether it's sensed or object or mind or object, it's just the reality that is known. Otherwise, we end up thinking so much about it and forget about understanding the characteristic of the reality now.
Sorry, Sarah, can I say something a bit? May, the way I'm thinking about nimitta, that make me a bit easier to understand. Yeah, because when we talking about citta, only one citta can arise at the time. Like for example, at the time of seeing, yeah, seeing sees visible objects, but no thinking, because the one that we said that even the citta with at the level of satipatthana, that's not through 5 doorways, only through mind door. Yeah, that's why it cannot happen at the same time as the 5 doorways. That have to be a different moment from the 5 doorway, from the citta that arise at the 5 doorway. Yeah, that's why at the moment of seeing, even the visible object already gone before the thinking arising take place. That's why all the reality gone. Yeah, and for the normal people and the Buddha, I think that moment is the same, but the Buddha can realize directly when it falls away, nothing. Yeah, when it arising and falling away. Yeah, but for us, because the panya is very slow, that's why we always take the nimitta of many seeing, yeah, many visible objects. Yeah, after many seeing, after many visible objects that we take, we know that, oh, what happened, yeah, what arising. That's what I'm thinking, that make me a bit easier for me to understand, because only one citta can arise at a time. Thank you.
And even for the Arahat, it's nimitta, like the citta with lobha that we read about in the Satipatthana Sutta. It has to have fallen away before the nimitta of it, the replica of it, can appear by way of nimitta. So, because understanding cannot arise together with the citta with lobha, and the object is the object of lobha at that moment. So it's always nimitta. And as Ajahn mentioned, nimitta of reality, nimitta of something is nimitta all day long. But we're talking about nimitta of reality, but nimitta of what is thought about now, taking it as liang, it's nimitta of something at each moment. But without understanding what is reality, what is nimitta of reality, there cannot be any understanding of what is concept.
Yes, and that's why it's important to discuss it, isn't it? And we seem to have been discussing it forever. and we'll continue to do so.
Until Panya arrive.
And
But Liang, even if Panya arrives at that level, what is more interesting than to hear the Dhamma and discuss the Dhamma?
I think even the Buddha, yeah, remember the one of the Buddha story. Yeah, when the Buddha came across one of the monk that was chanting at night, the Buddha stand there and listen. Does he need to stand? Does he need to listen again to for realization? But I think maybe at the time is Upanishad Pachaya or the respect. Yeah, because in one of the book that these disciple wrote about what the Buddha said, yeah, without respect, it's not good. That's why no one in the world that the Buddha can pay respect to, only the Dhamma. That's my answer. Thank you.
Sylvia and Carmen, anyone else? Gabby, Sal, anyone else would like to say anything or bring up any topic? Sylvia, anything you'd
Now
like to bring up? Oh, Anne is putting up her hand. Anne, go ahead.
Can't hear you yet, Anne. Please turn on your audio.
Got it? Can you hear me now?
That's it. Yep.
Good, thank you. I know we're at the end of our time now, but I'd like to continue this discussion next time. I seem to continually find myself wondering how we get from nimitta to the concept. You know, when I think I see your face. How one gets there. I realize, though, that the point that we're talking about, and the most important one, is the nimitta of reality. It's not the process we really need to know, but I do find a bit of a fascination with that. How we go from the nimitta of the actual, say, visible object through, you know, then the nimitta, then the shape and form and more details. Anyway, that's not for today, I don't think.
Maybe I can just briefly say something on that. It's just the nature, in my as I see it, it's just the nature of the way the mind works. It does form up concepts. So we don't have to know why it does that, exactly how it does it, but it does it. And that's all we have to see.
Because that's what we see and think of most of the time. All of the time, it's concept. But as I say, I recognize that what's important, and what's important here is the understanding of the reality, the characteristics of the reality, and that moving through to concept is not part of that, I guess.
I think we
the
can.
Thinking piece.
Right. I think it is a good topic. We can continue on Monday or next Saturday. Last words to Ajahn.
In order to understand the truth, it has to be understanding what is there right now in life, little by little.